Hi Rangers, this video is to help go over the review just in case you have any questions. So this is for the third 9 weeks test number 1 review. So looking at our first question, we have a music store sold a total of 25 used guitars and saxophones in 1 month. Guitars X cost $150 and saxophones cost $200. If total sales were $4,500, which system of equations can be used to find out how many guitars and saxophones were sold? So what we need to know is that our guitars are X and our saxophones are Y. Okay, and we also need to know that there's a total of 25 used guitars and saxophones sold in 1 month. So that tells me my first equation should be X plus Y equals 25. Okay, so that goes with my first equation. Now that I have that, I'm able to eliminate some answer choices. So I can eliminate answer choice C and answer choice D because they do not use the correct first equation. Okay, now I go to my second equation. Okay, I need to know the cost. Well, guitars cost $150 and saxophones cost $200, and the total sales were $4,500. So I'm going to put all my money together. So I know guitars are $150, so that's going to go with the X, plus my total cost of saxophones, $200, that's going to go with Y, and I'm going to set that equal to $4,500. This is my second equation. And so I look at my answer choices, and I can eliminate answer choice B because it has the 200 and 150 flip-flopped. So my correct answer would be A. Okay, so let me highlight that so we can see it better. There we go. That's our correct answer. Moving on to the next one. What is the Y value to the system of equations? So I just want the Y value, but in order to do this, I need to use my calculator, and I actually have to find the solution. Okay, again, we're just looking for the Y value of the solution, but you have to find the whole solution in order to do this. So I go to my calculator, I go to a new document, and I add a calculator. I go menu 3, 2. I have 2 equations. My variables are X and Y, so I hit OK. I'm going to put my notes on top so I can see what I'm typing in. Okay, so on top I am typing in 2x equals, I type it in exactly as it looks, 3y minus 1. The bottom one I have x plus 2y equals 10. So again, I have it identical to what it looks like. I press enter. When I do that, it tells me my solution is 4, 3. Okay, I go back to my document. So we're just looking for the Y value, which would be answer choice B. Okay, now these questions might be in a different order than your quizzes, and the answer choices might be mixed up, but it's the same questions. Okay. Now, next one. Spalding is shipping a combination of baseball bats and balls to a school. The amount of items shipped was 18. Each bat weighs 33 ounces and each ball weighs 5 ounces. The total amount of ounces shipped was 230 ounces. How many balls did Spalding ship to the school? So this one actually involves a little more. Okay, so first thing we need to do is we need to identify our variables. So I'm going to identify that my X are the bats and Y is the balls. Okay, so how many total bats and balls are being shipped? Well, that is 18 items. Okay, the total amount of items is 18. So my first equation is X plus Y equals 18. Now, I kind of got ahead of myself, so let's go back a second. What are we looking for? We're looking to find how many balls did they ship to the school. So we have to identify our variables, we have to write our equations, and then we have to solve them using our calculator. So this is a multi-step problem. So next, we're going to write our second equation, and this is going to talk about the ounces. The bats weigh 33 ounces, so that's going to be 33x. The balls weigh 5 ounces, so that's going to be plus 5y. I set it equal to the total number of ounces, which is 230. So now that I have my two equations, I can type it in the calculator just like I did the previous problem with menu 3-2. Okay, so I go menu 3-2, and I'm going to type in my two equations. So I had x plus y equals the 18 items. I have 33x plus 5y equals the 230 items or ounces. I get 5,13. Okay, so my solution was 5,13. And again, we want to know how many balls were shipped, and balls are the y value. So my y value is 13, so my answer is D. Okay, that's how we do that one. Again, it's a multi-step problem. Looking at the next one, which of the following is a possible solution to the systems of inequalities graphed? So what we have to do on this one is we're just going to plot them. We want to make sure it falls in this purple area right here that I'm highlighting in yellow. That's that overlapping area. That is what we're looking for the points to fall in between. Okay, so 3, -4. I go over 3, I go down 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that falls on a dotted line, and dotted lines do not have solutions. 3, 1 falls on a solid line, and it's in the shaded area, so that could be a possible solution. So let's put a question mark. 1, 2 falls on a dotted line. Again, dotted lines are no-goes. 0, 2 is right here, and that is not in our shaded area. So our correct answer is answer choice B. Okay, moving on to the next one. There was a typo in the answer, so make sure you fix that. That's my mistake. I was not reading the numbers right this morning. So the table given represents some points on the linear function g. What is the rate of change of g? So a lot of people fixated on g. G is just telling you that that's the name of the line. Okay, what you need to worry about and what you need to find is the rate of change. Okay, so to do that, we're going to go to our calculator, and we're going to go to a new document this time, and we're going to go to a list and spreadsheet. So we're going to go ahead and set it up before I put the notes on top. We're going to put X next to A and Y next to B, and then we're going to go ahead and type in the points of our table, or the values of our table. So I'm going to put my notes on top so I can see. So I have 42, 22, -18, -38. I have 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. There we go. Okay, I'm going to go to menu 4, 1, 3. My X list is X, my Y list is Y. And then I hit OK, so I got to move my notes to the other side. There we go. And it tells me that my slope M is 0.05. So that would be answer choice D. Okay, so we need to know that rate of change is slope. Moving on to the next one. Which graph best represents the linear function? So what you need to do is you need to make sure y is by itself. So to do this, all you got to do is divide both sides by -10. And then we're going to go into our calculator, and we're going to graph this right here and match it. Okay, So we're just going to graph it exactly as it looks. Again, not making more work for ourselves. So I go over to the calculator. I'm going to discard my changes, and I'm going to go to a graph this time. So we're switching screens a lot. I'm going to start with the fraction button, and then I'm going to type in my function exactly as it looks. Okay, so my function is negative 12 x minus 30 on top, negative 10 on bottom. I graph it. So based on how it looks, I am able to eliminate answer choice C because it's going in the wrong direction, and B because it is also going in the wrong direction. Now, what I have to pay close attention to is where it's crossing the y-axis. It's crossing the y-axis above in the positive area. Okay, so if I look at A, it looks pretty identical to it. If I look at B, notice how it's crossing down here in the negative area. So that's why this answer does not work. So our correct answer would be A. Okay, this next one is also going to involve a graph, so I'm going to stay on the calculator screen. So it says a system of inequalities is graphed. Which of the systems of inequalities does the graph represent? Well, let's look at our picture. We know, based on the dotted line in blue, so let me switch my pen to a blue color if I can. Okay, I don't think I know how to do that, so that's fine. Okay, we know dotted lines go with inequality signs with no lines underneath. We know solid lines go with inequality signs that have a line underneath. So we know that our signs need to be different. If I'm looking at my answer choices, answer choice A uses the same inequality signs, so I can eliminate it. And answer choice B also uses the same types of inequality signs, so I can eliminate that one. So now I need to know the difference between the lines. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a new fresh graph, and I am going to graph one of my inequalities. So all I'm going to do is graph the 2x plus 4. So I know which line it needs to be. Okay, so the 2x plus 4 is the red line. Okay, 2x plus 4 is this red line right here. Okay, so it has the right inequality sign. What we need to know is, did the graph shade below that yellow line that I highlighted, or above that yellow line that I highlighted? Well, it's shaded up here for that line because that's where the overlapping area is. So I need to make sure that my inequality sign is opening towards the y, because that's how we get to shade above. So if I'm looking at my answer choices, the only one that has that would be answer choice D. Okay, on answer choice C, it would end up being shaded below, and that's not the correct area, so that's why we can eliminate that one. Okay, so we're going to take a break from the calculator, go back to our notes, and look at this next problem. Lily wants to grab some granola bars. At Kroger, you can get 6 strawberry and 4 cherry together for $6.90. At Sam's Club, you can get 5 strawberry and 9 cherry for $9.15. Which system could help you identify how much each granola bar cost? So, first off, we need to identify our variables. So let's say that X is the strawberry and Y is our cherry. Okay, now we're talking about 2 different stores, so that's what our equations are going to be based off of. First store we're going to talk about is Kroger. What can we get from Kroger and how much is it going to cost us? Well, at Kroger we can get 6 strawberries, so 6x, plus 4 cherry, so 4y, and it's going to cost us $6.90. So if I look at my answer choices that I have, I need 6x plus 4y equals $6.90, so A can be eliminated because it has it equal to 915. C has them subtracting. We're not subtracting. And then D has multiplication, and we're not multiplying two variables together, so we can eliminate that, which, I mean, it eliminates everything for us, so our answer is B. Okay, looking at the next one. So this one's going to require a little thinking from us. So we have two inequalities, and we want to know which graph best represents the solution set to this system of inequalities. Okay. This one is a little challenging, okay? But this is how I want you to think about this, okay? All of these graphs look almost identical, okay? The only difference is the types of lines, okay? But if you think about it in a shading aspect, I think this will help you, okay? If we look at this right here, this is going to cause my inequality sign to flip. If my inequality sign flips, okay, it will flip and open the other way, which means it's opening away from the y. So if it's opening away from the y, that means that we would need to shade below. Okay? Now, if I look at this inequality sign right here, it will not flip because it's positive. So that means it's going to be the same. Okay? And it needs to be shaded above. Okay? So we know the shading. Okay? We could also do a test point to try to eliminate, but let's jump to the test point real quick, and then we'll go on with the shading. Okay? So, typically I say the easiest test point to use is 0, 0. Unfortunately, our lines go through 0, 0, so that's not going to be useful to us. Okay? So I am going to look at answer choice A first, and I am going to use this point right here, okay, 2, 0 as a test point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in 2 for x and 0 for y and see if I get a true statement. So I'm going to switch back over to my calculator. I'm going to go to a new calculator screen, and I'm going to put my notes on top. Oops, that's the wrong app. There we go. Okay, so if I plug in 2 for x, so I get 3 times 2 minus 2y, which is 0, is greater than 0. So I plug that in, I get true. Okay, so it works out for that one. Then I'm going to plug in 2 for this x and 0 for that y and see if it's true. So I get 2 plus 2 times 0 is greater than or equal to 8. I get false. Okay, so what this tells me is that this solution set does not work. So that answer choice is eliminated. Since that is eliminated, that means this answer choice is also eliminated. Okay, so now we have it down to a 50-50 shot. Okay, now we're going with the shading above and below. Does not work in this case, so I'm not going to go back to that. What we're going to have to do in order to figure this out is trying to zoom out. We're going to have to solve one of these equations for y. Okay, I know we don't like doing that, but we're going to have to do that. Actually, I have another idea. Just came to me. So you know how I say points on dashed lines do not work? Well, let's pick a point on the solid line, okay, on this solid line, and if it works, that means it's the correct answer. This one, if it doesn't work, would mean that would be the correct answer. Okay, so I'm going to pick a point on that line. Is there any pretty points on that line? And it looks like this right here. So 4, 6. 4, 6. So I'm going to do the exact same thing I just did. And if it works, that means that C is our answer. Okay, so if we get true for both of them, C is our answer. If we get false, that means D is our answer, because false would mean that it falls on a dotted line and it doesn't work. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing we just did here, except this time we're going to plug in 4 for X and 6 for Y. 4 for X, 6 for Y. So I'm going to go back to my calculator. Okay, I have 3 times 4 minus 2 times 6 is greater than 0. I get false automatically. Okay, but I have a feeling I might have typed it in wrong, so let's check, double check, double check. Okay. Here we go. So 3 times 4 minus 2 times 6 is less than 0. So that means that that would be my right answer. Okay, so false. So based on this method, I'm thinking that we should have gotten the answer as D. Okay, now sometimes I make mistakes in math, so let's double check. If we solve that first, let's solve the second equation, okay, because it doesn't have any negatives, so that might make our lives a little easier. If I solve this top equation for Y, I will need to subtract X from both sides. I get 2Y is greater than or equal to 8 minus 1X. I'm going to put a 1 with that. And then we have to divide everything by 2. Okay? Now, I showed you this earlier. Divide by 2. Okay? And this would be for the solid line, mind you, because of the inequality sign. I'm going to graph this little piece right here, and it will tell me which line it should be. So I go to my calculator. I'm going to go back to a graph. Okay. I'm going to start with my fraction, and I had 8 minus 1x over 2. 8 minus 1x over 2. It tells me that line should be going in a negative slope. So if I'm looking, my solid line, okay, let me switch colors real quick. My solid line should be going at a negative slope, which was D. Okay, so that method worked for us. So let's recap what we did. First, to eliminate A and B, we picked a test point, okay, in one of the shaded areas. Okay, we picked 2, 0, did not work. Second, what we did is the only difference between C and D were how the lines were shaded. So what we did is we picked another test point that happened to fall on one of the lines. If it worked, it would have been answer choice C. If it did not work, that means it's answer choice D, because it does not work on dotted lines. So when we did it, we got false. That means D is our answer. Okay, and I double checked by solving for Y if that method makes more sense to you. Okay, moving on to the next one. We have the system right here that's graphed. We want to know which of these equations best represents the one that's graphed. So what we need to be able to do is you need to be able to tell me that the solution to this is right here at 0, 2. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put these all in our calculator and see which one gives us 0, 2 as a solution. So I switch back to my calculator. Again, lots of switching back and forth. And I'm going to go to the calculator screen. I'm going to put my notes on top. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to go menu, 3, 2. Okay, now I'm going to put my notes on top. So, I'm going to type in this first equation. I get y equals negative 5x plus 2. The bottom one, I get x minus 2y equals negative 4. I check to see, dun dun dun. 0, negative 2, first try. We got so lucky right there. Okay, that means the video is not going to be as long. That's a joke. Okay, so we got this right here. Boom. Next one, Only, what, 4 questions left. We got this, okay? What is the slope of the line graphed of y equals negative 3x minus 2? Now, some of us are able to look at it and see what the slope is. Some of us struggle with that, so we're going to use our calculator to help us. So we're going to go to our calculator. Again, graph, okay? We're going to go to the graph screen. We're going to type in negative 3x. Was it minus 12? Minus 12. Enter. To find the slope, you're going to hit menu 6, 5. 6, 5. You take your finger on the calculator, okay, you drag it. That little dot tells you what the slope is. Be careful because there's a negative on it, okay? So my slope is negative 3. Some of us could see that it was negative 3 by looking here. Slope is the number in front of the x. Slope is the number in front of the x. Next question. What is the slope of the line? So, some of us can look at this and find the slope. Some of us can't. That's fine. That's why we have resources. So, to graph this, we need to move this to the other side. To do so, we have to do the opposite. So now I am just going to graph this part in my calculator and do the same thing. Menu 6, 5. Here we go. New document, new graph. I had 1/2 parentheses x minus 5 outside plus 3. Enter. Menu 6, 5. Take my finger, drag it along the line. It says 0.5. Okay? Oh no, I don't see a 0.5. But I do know it's not that. That's a whole number. It's not that. That's a whole number. And it's not that because it's a whole number. So look, 1/2 and 0.5 are the same thing. Done. Next one. Given the function f of x, what is the value of f of 2? Notice, it was f of x, now it's f of 2. This is an x, now it becomes a 2. 3 times 2 minus 2. Type it in your calculator. 3 times 2 minus 2. New document. We're going to go to the calculator screen. 3 times 2 minus 2. Boom. Answer's 4. Okay? Awesome. Next one. Same concept. Given f of x, what is the value of f of 13? It started as an x, it's changing to a 13. So I have 7 minus 1/2 times 8 plus negative 13. We're going to type this into the calculator. Here we go. Just like we did before. And I already forgot the numbers. Okay. Here we go. 7 minus 1/2 times 8 plus negative 13. Enter. What do you think it is? If you guessed 19 over 2, you guessed right. But oh no, that's not one of our answers. Don't get confused. 19.2 is not the same thing. And we know it's not negative, so I can eliminate D. So we have to change a fraction to a decimal. You're going to hit the yellow button, Control, Enter. If you're on the iPad, you hold down Enter and you do the little squiggly equal sign lines. And the answer is A. Okay? So, I have gone over all 14 questions that were on your review. Please practice, ask questions before the test, and good luck on your test.